Picture this. You wake up in a stone cottage in the Algarve, throw open the shutters, and the Atlantic is right there. Your monthly rent costs less than a fortnight of groceries in Sydney. Your morning coffee is €2. Your doctor's visit is free. And your super, the one you spent 30 years building, suddenly stretches twice as far. This isn't a fantasy. Thousands of Aussies are already living it, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much you need, which country fits your budget, and the traps that catch most people on the way out. Let's start with Portugal, because it's the #1 destination Aussies are choosing right now. And it's also the easiest financial bar to clear in all of Western Europe. Life in Portugal moves slowly in the best possible way. The Algarve coast in the south offers warm Mediterranean weather almost year-round. English is widely spoken because of decades of British tourism. And coastal towns like Lagos, Tavira, and Olhão feel like a quieter, sunnier version of Byron Bay 30 years ago. If you prefer city life, Lisbon and Porto give you world-class food, trams, river views, and direct flights all over Europe for under €50. The healthcare system is genuinely excellent and ranks among the best in Western Europe. And once you're a legal resident, you can access it at a fraction of what private cover costs back home. The visa most Aussies use is the D7, often called the passive income visa. In 2026, you need to prove a minimum passive income of €920 per month for the main applicant, plus €460 for a spouse, and €276 per child. You also need savings of around €11,000 sitting in a Portuguese bank account and proof of accommodation. Realistically, an Aussie couple can live very comfortably in Portugal on around 35,000 Australian dollars a year, and quite well on 28,000 if you're careful. Before we move to the next country, which is Spain, a quick one. If you've been watching for a while and want to support the channel, you can now become a member. Here's what you get. A members-only badge next to your name in every comment so I know you're part of the crew. Custom emojis you can use anywhere on YouTube. And priority replies. When I see that badge, your comment goes to the top of my list. Every week I'll post the upcoming content schedule exclusively for members, so you'll always know what's coming before anyone else. You can suggest video ideas directly in those posts, and I genuinely use them. Most importantly, your membership helps me keep making free finance education for everyday Australians. The more support the channel gets, the more videos I can put out. Hit the join button below or check the pinned comment. Now let's move to Spain, which trades Portugal's quiet pace for energy, colour, and a much bigger lifestyle. You've got the beaches of Valencia and Alicante, the mountains of Andalusia, the cosmopolitan buzz of Madrid and Barcelona, and small white villages where life moves at a completely different rhythm. The food culture is built around long lunches and tapas. The public transport is fast and cheap, and the expat community is enormous, especially along the Costa Blanca, where you'll find Aussies, Brits, Germans, and Dutch retirees who've been doing this for decades. Healthcare is top tier and ranked by the World Health Organization as one of the best on the planet. The visa is the non-lucrative visa, and in 2026 it requires you to prove 400% of the Spanish IPREM, which works out to €2,400 per month, or about 3,900 Australian dollars, plus roughly €600 extra per dependent. To actually live comfortably in Spain, an Aussie couple should budget around 40,000 to 50,000 Australian dollars a year, depending on whether you're in a coastal town or a major city. Spain costs more than Portugal, but for that extra money you get a richer, louder, more vibrant version of European retirement. Greece used to be the budget secret of European retirement, and the day-to-day cost of living still is. You can rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Crete for €500 a month. A full meal with wine at a local taverna runs €15 to €20. Life on a Greek island or in a smaller mainland town is exceptionally cheap, deeply social, and built around food, family, and the sea. But here's what changed. The Greek immigration law 5038, which came into force on the 31st of March 2024, raised the bar for the financially independent person visa dramatically. As of 2026, you now need to prove a passive income of €3,500 per month as a single applicant, plus 20% extra for a spouse and 15% for each child. The alternative is parking around €84,000 in a Greek bank account. The good news is that the visa is now granted for 3 years instead of two, and it still leads to a beautiful, affordable everyday life once you're in. A couple can live well on 30,000 to 38,000 Australian dollars a year, which makes it a strong choice for Aussies with bigger super balances who want their money to go further day to day. Italy is for the Aussies who want beauty, food, and culture built into everyday life. The slow Italian rhythm is real, and you feel it everywhere. Long meals, strong family ties, regional food cultures that change every 50 kilometres, and centuries of history layered into ordinary streets. Tuscany and Umbria attract retirees who want rolling hills and vineyards. Puglia in the south offers whitewashed villages and turquoise water at prices that still feel reasonable. Sicily is even cheaper, with some towns famously selling abandoned homes for €1 if you commit to renovating them. The elective residence visa, which is Italy's retirement pathway, sits in the middle of the pack on income. You need to prove a stable passive income of around €31,000 per year for the main applicant, plus about 20% for a spouse. The income must be passive, meaning pensions, super, rental income, or investment returns. Italian healthcare is excellent and ranked among the world's best, but it's regional, so where you live matters enormously. Realistic living costs for a couple range from 38,000 to 50,000 Australian dollars a year, more if you settle in the wealthier north. Italy also offers a special flat 7% tax rate for retirees who settle in certain small southern towns, which is one of the most generous deals in Europe right now. Now let's talk about the part that actually makes any of this possible, which is your superannuation. Your super stays in Australia when you move overseas, and that's a good thing. Once you've met a condition of release, usually reaching preservation age and retiring, you can draw from your super while living anywhere in the world. Most Aussies set up a pension phase account, have payments deposited into their Australian bank, and then transfer money to Europe as needed using a low-fee service rather than the big banks. As a rough guide, an Aussie couple with around $600,000 to $750,000 in super, drawing down sensibly, can fund a comfortable European retirement in Portugal or Greece for the rest of their lives. The age pension is more complicated. You can still receive the age pension while living overseas, but after 26 weeks abroad, supplement payments are reduced or removed. Your payment is also affected by your Australian working life residence, meaning how many years between age 16 and pension age you actually lived in Australia, so timing matters. Most planners suggest qualifying for the age pension while still resident in Australia, then making the move rather than leaving first and trying to sort it out from a cafe in Lisbon. Tax is the trap that catches almost everyone. The moment you become a tax resident in Portugal, Spain, Greece, or Italy, you may be taxed on your worldwide income, including super withdrawals and Australian investment earnings. Australia has tax treaties with all 4 countries to prevent double taxation, but the rules tightened again in the 2026 federal budget, particularly around capital gains and expat trusts. Please, don't guess on this. One conversation with a cross-border tax specialist before you move can save you $20,000 to $50,000 over the first few years. Finally, the part nobody likes to talk about. Homesickness is real and it hits harder than people expect. The first 6 months feel like a holiday. Then winter arrives, your friends and family are 17,000 kilometres away. The grandkids are growing up in photos, and a poorly insulated stone house at 8 degrees stops feeling charming. This is why the smartest Aussies don't burn their bridges. They rent out their Australian home instead of selling. They trial their chosen country for 6 to 12 months before committing, and they plan 1 or 2 return trips home each year as part of the budget. Here's the bottom line. Retiring in Europe is not an escape from Australia. It's a smarter use of the wealth you've already built. The numbers genuinely work, the visas are accessible, and the lifestyle is real. If this video helped you see your retirement more clearly, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.